You ever wonder where we really came from before birth? If you've ever had that unsettling feeling that there's something greater, something beyond the physical reality we know that you're not alone. Today, I'm going to share with you some ancient knowledge, preserved for millennia, about a dimension that few can catch a glimpse of during their time on Earth, the home planet of souls, the spiritual world we left before coming here. If this topic strikes a chord with you, hit like right now and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our future content on expanded consciousness. Imagine for a moment that before you were born, even before your physical conception, your essence existed on a subtler, higher plane, a realm of vibrations beyond ordinary human understanding, where there are no limits of time and space as we know them. This place isn't a place in the physical sense. It's a state of consciousness, a vibrational dimension that goes beyond our three-dimensional understanding. In ancient traditions, this plane went by many names. The Tibetans called it Bardo, the Egyptians Duat, the Celts Tir na Nog, the Greeks the Elysian Fields. Each culture tried, within the limits of their language, to describe the indescribable, the true origin of our consciousness. Modern science, with all its technological sophistication, is still fumbling at the edges of knowledge when it comes to consciousness. Quantum physicists are starting to admit that reality isn't as solid as it seems. In truth, on the most fundamental level, everything is vibration, information, possibility. Dr. Robert Lanza, with his theory of biocentrism, suggests that consciousness creates the universe, not the other way around. Dr. Raymond Moody's research on near-death experiences documented thousands of reports of people who, while clinically dead, visited luminous dimensions before returning. And the most intriguing part, these accounts show similar patterns regardless of the individual's culture, religion, or geographic location. Let me share with you Maya's story, a 28-year-old woman who, since childhood, had recurring dreams of a misty garden bathed in golden light where luminous beings talked with her. For years, Maya believed they were just vivid dreams until, during deep meditation, she consciously reconnected with that very place. The feeling was like coming home, an immediate recognition. It wasn't like remembering a dream, she told me. It was like recognizing a place where I spent more time than in this earthly life. Or take Thomas, who during a complex heart surgery had a near-death experience. He recalls floating above his body, watching the doctors working frantically, only to be guided through a tunnel of light toward a council of beings who turned out to be his spiritual mentors. They showed me scenes from my life, not to judge me, but so I could reflect on the lessons. And then they showed me my life plan, what I had decided to experience before being born. It was eye-opening to realize that my biggest challenges were chosen by me, for growth reasons that I only understood in that moment. These experiences aren't isolated cases. They happen thousands of times around the world. What's even more surprising is the consistency in these accounts. An absolute feeling of peace, encounters with beings of light, a review of one's life, and above all, a crystal clear understanding that everything has a bigger purpose. When we come across so many similar stories, we need to ask ourselves, are these experiences merely hallucinations triggered by stressed brains, as some skeptics suggest? Or are these people catching a glimpse of a dimension that usually stays hidden during our earthly journey? The veil that separates our world from that higher plane is thinner than we think, and some people manage to cross it momentarily. Now, let's take a deeper look at how this spiritual plane is structured and how it works. According to the most consistent accounts and the oldest esoteric traditions, the planet before incarnation has an organized structure with different vibrational levels. Imagine a cosmic architecture composed of overlapping dimensions, each with specific roles in the grand plan of soul evolution. In the life planning chamber, souls gather with their guides and mentors to design the experiences they wish to have in their next incarnation. Picture a crystalline room where holograms display different life possibilities, different paths, different lessons. There, you and I, before we were born, made conscious choices about the challenges we would face here. You're probably wondering, if I planned my life before being born, why would I choose to go through difficulties or suffering? The answer is profound and transformative. On the spiritual dimension, we understand that the most significant growth comes through challenges. The soul doesn't seek comfort, it seeks evolution. That illness you faced, that tough relationship, that devastating loss, every experience was carefully selected for your spiritual development. It's like an actor choosing challenging roles to expand their repertoire. From the soul's point of view, being born into difficult circumstances can be a golden opportunity to develop compassion, inner strength, or forgiveness. These qualities are the true treasure we carry with us when we return to our dimension of origin. As the philosopher Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Ancient cultures grasped this truth on a level our modern society is just beginning to rediscover. The ancient Egyptians, with their Book of the Dead, described in detail the soul's journey after physical death, a return to its divine origin after a judgment that was, in fact, an evaluation of the soul's own growth. The Tibetans, in the Bardo Thodol, mapped out the 49 days of transition between death and rebirth, describing the different stages that consciousness goes through during that time. Indigenous peoples of the Americas talked about the spirit world as a reality as concrete as the physical one, only on a different frequency. And mystics from all traditions, Sufism, Christian Gnosticism, Taoism, shamanism, arrived at the same understanding. We existed before birth in a higher state of consciousness and return there after physical death. If your life was carefully planned on the spiritual dimension, what would be the purpose behind your greatest challenges? What lessons did your soul choose to learn through the difficulties you face? And what if the seemingly random encounters in your life, like that person who crossed your path just when you needed them, or that book that fell into your hands when you were looking for answers, were actually planned before your birth? When we start to consider these possibilities, our outlook on life changes completely. The accidents vanish, the coincidences gain purpose, and even the most painful losses reveal their hidden meaning in the grand plan of soul evolution. Think about the most significant relationships in your life, those that transformed you the most, for better or worse. What if those encounters were pre-incarnational agreements, commitments made between souls who set out to grow together? Modern quantum physics offers us models that, surprisingly, support these ancient spiritual insights. The concept of quantum entanglement suggests that particles that have interacted remain connected regardless of the physical distance between them. Physicist David Bohm proposed the existence of an implicate order, an underlying reality containing all possibilities from which our explicit reality emerges. Double-slit experiments show that the observer's consciousness influences matter at the subatomic level. These cutting-edge scientific discoveries are beginning to build bridges between ancient knowledge and contemporary science, suggesting that reality is far more complex and interconnected than our materialistic paradigm has led us to believe. As Nobel Prize-winning physicist Max Planck said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative of consciousness." If consciousness is indeed the foundation of reality, then the existence of dimensions beyond the physical is not just possible, it's probable. Another fascinating piece of evidence about the home planet of souls comes from children. Researchers like Dr. Ian Stevenson and Dr. Jim Tucker from the University of Virginia have documented thousands of cases where children remember past lives with verifiable details that would be impossible to know through conventional means. Even more intriguing are the accounts of very young children who describe the place they came from before being born. With an innocence that defies any cultural influence, children from all over the world describe this spiritual realm with surprising similarities. A place of light, free of pain or fear, where they were loved unconditionally and where they chose their current families. As Ryan, a 4-year-old boy, explained to his astonished mother, "I chose you when you were in the mommy line. I knew you'd be perfect to teach me what I need to learn this time." If you've made it this far, you probably feel a resonance with this knowledge. Something inside you recognizes this truth, even if your rational mind might question it. This recognition is no coincidence, it's your soul remembering. It's like we're living with collective amnesia, forgetting our true nature and origin. And this forgetting has a purpose. It allows us to fully live the human experience, face challenges without the memory that everything was planned, make authentic choices without the burden of complete knowledge. Imagine watching a movie while already knowing the ending. The experience would be completely different. However, as we evolve spiritually, we begin to recover fragments of that cosmic memory. Moments of déjà vu, premonitory dreams, inexplicable synchronicities, each can be a fleeting glimpse of our life plan laid out before birth. Feel free to leave a comment if you've ever had an experience that suggests a connection with this spiritual plane. Your story might help others understand their own experiences. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to continue this journey of self-discovery with us. Death, seen from this perspective, isn't an end. It's a return, a coming back to our true home, to the dimension we temporarily left to live this earthly experience. Near-death experiences often describe the moment of death as one of liberation, an expansion of consciousness, a feeling of finally coming home after a long journey. As Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, a pioneer in the study of death, beautifully put it, death is only a transition from one state of consciousness to another. When we deeply understand this truth, the fear of death dissolves, replaced by a serene acceptance of the great cosmic cycle of moving between dimensions. Recognizing this spiritual planet has revolutionary implications for our daily lives. If we understand that we are eternal beings, temporarily living in physical bodies to learn and grow, how would that transform our priorities? If we see difficult relationships as opportunities for spiritual growth, planned even before birth, how would that change our approach to conflicts? If we accept that life's challenging circumstances were chosen by our own souls for our development, how would that affect our attitude toward hardships? Awareness of the spiritual plane invites us to live more intentionally, more compassionately, and more aligned with our higher purpose. The science of consciousness is still in its infancy. As we develop more sophisticated technologies to study non-ordinary states of consciousness, deep meditation, therapeutic psychedelic experiences, near-death states, we gather more evidence about the multidimensional nature of reality. Renowned research institutes like the Institute of Noetic Sciences and the University of Virginia's Division of Perceptual Studies are documenting phenomena that challenge the materialistic paradigm and hint at the existence of dimensions beyond the physical. The boundary between science and spirituality is dissolving, revealing a more integrated understanding of the nature of consciousness and reality. Our journey back to the spiritual planet starts now, not only after physical death. Through deep meditation, we can momentarily reconnect with that higher dimension. Through honest self-reflection, we can identify the lessons we came here to learn. Through forgiveness and compassion, we can fulfill pre-incarnational agreements with other souls. Remember, you are an eternal soul with a higher purpose beyond what meets the eye. This life is just one chapter in your endless journey, a temporary learning experience in a vast and loving universe. In the end, maybe the biggest revelation is this: there is no real separation between the spiritual planet and our physical reality. The separation is just an illusion created by our limited perception. Like a wave that thinks it's separate from the ocean, we temporarily forget that we are individualized expressions of the same universal consciousness. Our true home isn't somewhere far away. It's in a dimension that permeates our reality at every moment, accessible through inner silence, an open heart, and expanded consciousness. As the poet Rumi whispered, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." Subscribe to the channel and hit like for more stories like this. Thank you for sharing this journey of discovery with me today. Remember, the knowledge you seek already resides within you, waiting to be rediscovered. Until we meet again, keep your mind open and your heart tuned to the highest frequencies of love and consciousness. The door to the spiritual planet is always open for those ready to walk through it.